Imagine this. The year is 2060. Earth, our only home, is no longer safe. A rogue asteroid, 10 kilometers wide, is on a collision course with our planet. Its impact probability, 72%. Enough to wipe out not just cities, not just nations, but the entire civilization we've built over thousands of years. Inside the United Nations headquarters, leaders sit in silence. They all know. If the asteroid hits, there will be nowhere to hide. One question breaks the silence. If Earth is no longer safe, where do we go? That question isn't new. It has haunted scientists, philosophers, and dreamers for centuries. And one name keeps resurfacing, whispered like a promise of survival: Mars. But Mars is not just a fantasy. It's a potential destination. A backup home, a lifeboat for humanity. And in this series, The Road to Mars, humanity's second home, we will embark on a journey together. Not just to imagine, but to carefully explore step by step how humans might leave Earth behind and plant our flag on another world. In Episode 1, we begin at the foundation. Before we talk about rockets, colonies, or survival strategies, we must ask the most fundamental question: why Mars? Why not stay on Earth forever? Why not choose the Moon, or the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn? And why does Mars, despite its brutal cold and thin atmosphere, remain the best hope for humanity's future? This is where our journey begins. Welcome to Astronomical Library. At first glance, Earth feels eternal. Oceans shimmer blue, forests stretch endlessly, cities hum with life. To us, this planet seems permanent, indestructible. But the truth is far less comforting. Earth is fragile. Over the course of its history, Earth has been struck by catastrophic events, asteroid impacts, volcanic winters, ice ages that wiped out entire species. 66 million years ago, a 6-mile-wide asteroid slammed into what is now the peninsula. The dinosaurs, rulers of the Earth for over 150 million years, vanished almost overnight. If it happened once, it can happen again. But asteroids are only one threat. Climate change, driven by our own hands, is altering Earth's delicate balance. Rising seas threaten to swallow cities. Heat waves, droughts, and superstorms grow stronger each year. Imagine this trend continuing for centuries. Imagine wars over water, billions displaced by climate collapse. Earth may still exist, but it may no longer be hospitable to us. And then there's the danger we create ourselves. Nuclear war could plunge the planet into decades of darkness. A synthetic virus might spiral out of control. Or artificial intelligence, unchecked, could destabilize our societies. In other words, Earth is a single point of failure. Our entire species depends on this one planet. If something happens here, there is no backup. Think of it like a house fire. Even if your house is sturdy and comfortable, you need an emergency exit. You need a plan B. Humanity's emergency exit, the only one within reach of current technologies to spread beyond Earth. But where? The Moon is close. Mars is far. Europa is mysterious. Titan is exotic. The solar system is full of possibilities. Yet not all homes are created equal. To understand why Mars is our best chance, we need to examine the alternatives and see just how unforgiving they truly are. So, if humanity must leave Earth behind, the next question is obvious. Where do we go? The solar system offers many candidates. Worlds that gleam in our telescopes, worlds that stir our imagination. But the moment we look closer, their promise begins to fade. The Moon, our lonely neighbor. The first option lies right next door. The Moon, only 3 days away by rocket, with the surface humans have already touched. At first glance, it feels like the natural choice. But imagine stepping outside your lunar base. Above you, the black sky burns with radiation. The Moon has no atmosphere, no magnetic field, no shield against the sun's fury. Every solar storm, every burst of cosmic rays, slams directly into its surface. For you, the explorer, that means exposure to deadly radiation, far beyond what your body can endure long-term, and water. On Earth, it falls freely from the sky, flows in rivers, pools, in lakes. On the Moon, it's almost non-existent. Tiny traces of ice may hide in permanently shadowed craters, but to extract and use it would take enormous effort. Transporting water from Earth would be ruinously expensive, every liter costing thousands of dollars. Without water, there is no farming, no industry, no life. The Moon may be close, but in truth, it is a barren rock, a stepping stone at best, never a home. Europa, the ocean world beneath the ice. Perhaps then we look farther, to Jupiter's moon, Europa. From orbit, Europa glistens like a frozen pearl. Scientists believe, beneath its thick shell of ice, lies a vast global ocean, perhaps holding more water than all of Earth's seas combined. Could it be the cradle of alien life? But let's imagine trying to survive there. The surface is a nightmare. Temperatures plunge to -160 degrees Celsius. Jupiter's powerful magnetic field bombards Europa with lethal radiation, equivalent to standing beside hundreds of X-ray machines. Without meters of shielding, death would come in hours, even if you could tunnel beneath the ice. Drilling kilometers down to the ocean below, you'd find yourself in eternal darkness, a black sea, sealed under ice, with no sunlight to grow food. Maybe microbial life exists there, but not conditions where humans could thrive. Europa may be fascinating. It may even hold secrets of life's origins. But it is not a home for us. Titan, a land of methane and cold. Then there's Titan, Saturn's largest moon, larger than Mercury, cloaked in a dense orange atmosphere. At first, Titan feels strangely Earth-like. It has rivers, lakes, even rain, but not of water. These rivers flow with liquid methane and ethane. Its atmosphere is nitrogen-rich, thick enough to walk under without a pressure suit. Sounds promising until you feel the cold. At -179 degrees Celsius, Titan is unimaginably hostile. Breathe the air, and your lungs would freeze solid. Step outside without heating, and your body would shatter like glass. Any attempt at agriculture would fail instantly. The ground isn't soil, but frozen hydrocarbons. Titan may look like Earth in photographs, but it is a frozen mirage. And then, there is Mars. At first glance, it may look desolate, a cold desert under a pink sky. But look closer, and Mars begins to reveal its quiet promise. Yes, the atmosphere is thin. But it is an atmosphere. Enough carbon dioxide to grow plants if we bring greenhouses. If we design sealed farms where crops can drink in the Martian sunlight. With the right technology, the very air of Mars could become the foundation of agriculture. Imagine rows of wheat, potatoes, and leafy greens thriving inside transparent domes, turning red dust into green fields. Mars has water, ice locked in its poles and buried in its soil. Water we can melt for drinking, split for oxygen, and recycle endlessly. With it, we can irrigate crops, mix concrete, sustain industry. Entire cities could rise because Mars provides the one resource without which civilization cannot exist. Mars has gravity, not too much, not too little. On the Moon, people would suffer bone loss, muscle decay, bodies breaking under the absence of weight. But on Mars, gravity is just strong enough for long-term human health. Strong enough to pour molten metal into molds, to build with bricks and steel, to raise structures that last. Industry is possible here, not just survival. Mars has sunlight. Weak compared to Earth, but steady and dependable. Enough to power vast solar farms across its plains, feeding cities with renewable energy. Where Titan shrouds itself in darkness, Mars offers the light we need to fuel a civilization. Mars has a day that almost matches our own. A sunrise and a sunset we could recognize. A rhythm of life our bodies can follow. Our children could grow up with mornings and nights that feel natural, unlike the endless darkness of Europa or the warped days of Titan. And most of all, Mars has scale. A whole planet. A canvas vast enough for millions, maybe billions of people, to one day call home. Imagine forests under domes, stretching 4 kilometers. Imagine underground cities carved into cliffsides, safe from radiation. Imagine factories processing Martian regolith into steel, glass, and fuel. The Moon can give us outposts. Europa can give us mysteries. Titan can give us wonder. But only Mars can give us a world. This is why Mars matters. It is not just about survival. It is about rebuilding the story of humanity, brick by brick, harvest by harvest, city by city, on a new frontier. For thousands of years, humans have looked up at Mars and seen a red spark in the night sky. Ancient cultures called it the god of war, a fiery wanderer among the stars. Later, telescopes revealed its deserts, its polar caps, its canyons deeper than Earth's oceans. By the 19th century, dreamers imagined canals carved by alien hands. By the 20th century, science fiction filled our minds with cities under glass domes and astronauts walking across the rust-red plains. Mars has always been more than a planet. It has been a mirror for our hopes, our fears, our destiny. Today, that dream is no longer just fantasy. We have already sent explorers to Mars, though not humans, not yet. Our first pioneers were machines. Rovers like Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity, and now Perseverance. They have rolled across its surface, drilled into its rocks, sniffed its thin air. They found evidence that water once flowed here. Riverbeds, deltas, minerals formed in lakes that vanished billions of years ago. Proof that Mars once had the conditions for life. These rovers are our scouts, charting the ground for the next great step. Sending humans. NASA's vision is cautious, but clear. Their Artemis program aims to establish a foothold on the Moon, first a proving ground for deep space living. From there, the long-term goal is Mars. The timeline is not fixed. But by the late 2030s, or 2040s, NASA plans the first crewed missions. These missions will likely be short stays at first. Perhaps 30 days on the Martian surface, focused on survival and science. It's not just exploration. NASA wants to test technologies that will one day allow colonies, habitats shielded against radiation, systems that turn Martian ice into drinking water, reactors that generate steady power. Each step is designed to make Mars not just reachable, but livable. Then there is SpaceX, led by Elon Musk. Unlike NASA's cautious approach, Musk's vision is bold, even audacious. A self-sustaining city on Mars within this century. His rocket, Starship, is designed to carry 100 people at a time, along with cargo, habitats, even entire greenhouses. Musk's plan is to send fleets of ships during each launch window, when Earth and Mars align every 26 months. The first missions would deliver supplies and infrastructure, solar panels, life support systems, robots to build the basics. Then, crews of settlers would follow. Not just scientists, but engineers, farmers, builders, the first citizens of Mars. SpaceX's ultimate goal is not a base, not an outpost, but a city of millions. A civilization that can thrive, even if Earth falters. Making life multiplanetary, Musk calls it. For him, Mars is the insurance policy for humanity's future. China is not far behind. With their successful Tianwen-1 mission and rover Zhurong, China has shown it can reach and operate on Mars. Their official roadmap calls for crewed missions by the 2030s, with the eventual goal of a permanent base. The European Space Agency has its own visions, often in collaboration with NASA. Their focus lies in science, understanding Mars's geology, climate, and potential for life. But they too are laying the foundation for human presence. Even private ventures outside SpaceX are emerging. Groups of scientists, engineers, and visionaries working on closed-loop habitats, life support farming, and radiation shielding, all critical technologies for a Martian civilization. Of course, the obstacles are enormous. Radiation from the sun and cosmic rays could cause cancer and organ damage without proper shielding. Dust storms can block sunlight for weeks, choking solar power systems. The thin atmosphere makes it nearly impossible to land heavy payloads, rockets, and habitats alike. Even the journey itself, 6 to 9 months of isolation, exposure, and psychological strain will test human endurance. But every great achievement in history began with impossible odds. Crossing oceans, building cities in deserts, splitting the atom, walking on the moon. Humanity has never been deterred by the impossible. And so today, we find ourselves at the edge of a decision. Different nations, different agencies, different companies, but one shared dream: to set foot on Mars. For some, it is about science unlocking the story of a planet that once might have harbored life. For others, It is about survival, ensuring that humanity will endure, even if Earth suffers catastrophe. And for many, it is about destiny, the belief that we were never meant to stay confined to one world. Mars calls to us because it is hard, because it demands the best of our technology, our courage, our imagination, and because it offers something no other world can: the possibility of a new beginning. When we finally stand on that red soil, when the first footprints mark the dust, it will not just be the story of astronauts or nations. It will be the story of humanity itself, taking its first steps into a new chapter. Dreams are powerful. Plans are inspiring. But Mars does not care about our dreams. The planet is silent, cold, and unforgiving. Its atmosphere is a fragile wisp, its soil toxic, its radiation deadly. For all our grand visions of domed cities and endless fields of crops, the reality is this: the very first humans to set foot on Mars will be fighting for survival every single hour of every single day. The question is not only how do we get there, but how do we stay alive once we arrive? In the next episode, we'll step into the boots of those first pioneers. We'll face the brutal challenges of Mars itself: air, water, food, shelter, health, and ask, what does it truly take to build the first human outpost on another world? Because before we can build a civilization, we must win the battle to simply endure. We've seen the dreams, we've heard the plans, but now I want to hear from you. If you had the chance to go to Mars, would you take it? Why or why not? Do you think humanity should invest trillions of dollars in colonizing Mars, or focus on fixing Earth first? And if you could bring just one thing from Earth to start life on Mars, what would it be? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them all. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like this video so more people can join the discussion. Share it with a friend who's obsessed with space. And of course, subscribe and hit the bell icon, because in the next episode we're going to get real. What happens on day one of humanity on Mars? When the dream becomes reality, and survival becomes the only goal.